So hey everyone, sorry about that. Hopefully this video will work a little bit better. Tonight I'm going to be sharing with you some projects with the Gilded Leafing. So this is the container that the Gilded Leafing comes in, but I'm going to suggest to you that you put it in a larger container. We are definitely going to get messy tonight. So when I got this, I went ahead and had a big little well, not a huge, but just a little plastic container with a lid, and I would make sure it's a lid that really will lock in place. You'll see that I've added one of our stamping sponges to that, and I just leave that in there. You'll see me use that during some of our projects tonight. But this Gilded Leafing, so everything that you see in here is what came in that little tiny jar. So this is the jar, and this is what I got out of that jar. So these are some really large, big leafy pieces, and it's just easier to handle when you've got it all contained like this. I would also make sure that your container's pretty deep because these do go flying out. So like if somebody walked by here really quickly, it would be like blowing all over the place. So you definitely want to have a deep container and something that has a lid on it. All right, so I'm going to set that aside. I do have 4 different projects to share with you tonight. And if you're watching on Wednesday, March 17th, just so you know, there's still a few hours left for free shipping with $50 orders. And also, if you order $50 or more this month, you will be entered to win one of the mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machines. I'm going to give away one on March 19th and another one on March 31st. And you will get an entry for every $25 that you spend. So there's still time to get in on that. Also, with every order of $50 or more this month, I'm sending you 5 handmade cards, and you'll be registered for my next online class. So lots of perks for ordering today. So let's get started with one of our Gilded Leafing projects. So the first one I'm going to show you, we're going to be using a piece of basic black cardstock. Now, let's see here. My desk is a bit messy today. I'm not going to lie to you. So I'm gonna be struggling to find a few things. So this is our tear and tape, and so I'm going to show you a process that you can use the tear and tape with. Whenever you're using the Gilded Leafing, you're going to need something sticky. Okay, one way or the other, something has to be sticky. So for this card, I have a piece of cardstock, and this just measures 4 inches by 5 1/4. I'm just going to tear that. I do keep it just a little bit longer because I want my lines to be really long. And I'm going to go ahead and do just 3 lines across here. So again, I'm going to leave a little bit hanging off the ends, and I'll trim that down here in just a minute. And you can put these at whatever interval you want to do. Okay. So next, I'm just going to trim. I'm going to turn that over. These are my gummy scissors, so they're already pretty yucky. And we're just going to get all of that extra off of there. Okay. So let me do that. All right. Then I'm going to peel that backing off of those. So I'm going to just take that off. I like to use my little paper piercer for that, and that leaves a really sticky strip there behind. So I'm going to do this one, and one more here. All right. And if you're here, just let me know you're here. Give me a little thumbs up and let me know that you guys can hear me okay. All right, so I'm going to just kind of set my little thing out of the way, and I'm going to take my cardstock and I'm just going to push it down in there. Okay, so you can see I've got this big, fluffy kind of mess. And what I'm going to do is just gently rub that sponge over it, and push that leafing into place. So this is a great way to get some quick and easy gold lines on your project. And I love the way these look. Okay. So then what I'm going to do, and again, every time I use this, I do put the lid back on because otherwise I would have it all over my house. I'm going to go ahead and trim this down. So I did it the size of a card, but I'm going to layer it on another piece of cardstock. So you can see here how just some of those ends didn't quite get enough of that leafing on it. So I'm going to just trim that off. So I'm going to cut this part down to 4 inches. And then I'm going to cut this part down to 5 1/4. And then I will be able to just add that to the front of a card. Okay, so we've got that real pretty like that. Okay. All right, so let me show you my finished card. And I've got that one right here. So all I did was just add that onto there. Now you can see I've got one of our beautiful butterflies on there that I've already colored. And I'm going to show you how I got the gold all along the wings, because that's another technique that you can use with this. So for that one, we are going to use some of the natural designer series paper, and I have my multi-purpose adhesive, and I'm just gonna put a little bit of that on here. Not too much, but just a little bit. Squeeze some of that out. And I've got one of my Stampin' sponges that I cut into quarters. And so we're just going to start sponging on here. And so all I did on that butterfly card was I sponged just around the edges of the wings. So on this one, I'm just going to kind of do some splatters. Okay, and just, wherever. So we're just gonna do that. Now with this particular glue, you want this to kind of dry for a little bit. So I'm gonna set this aside and then we'll come back to it in just a little bit. And that way I can show you our next card. So for this one, I have a piece of Whisper White cardstock and a package of our adhesive sheets. Okay, so these come in a package of 12, and I want you just to think of these as being like that tear and tape sandwiched between 2 pieces of paper. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this. I believe I did this paper to 4 5 1/4, so I'm going to cut my paper, my adhesive sheet, to that length also. So I'm going to cut it at 4 inches. And then at 5 1/4. So as you can see, there's quite a few ways you can use this gilded leafing embellishment. So, all right, so I've got my white cardstock, and then I have my sheet here. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to peel. Let's see here. Got to figure out which side to peel first. All right, looks like we're peeling these first. Okay, so we're going to put these down on the card because these are the sticky side there. All right, so we're going to put that on there. And just going to put all of these on there. So there is a backing on this other side. I just want to get these as close on here as I can. But even if this isn't perfect, that's going to be okay because we're doing a fun technique here. All right, so I have that all sticky. So when I peel that backing off, there is going to be adhesive all over that card. So I don't know how many of you have seen Bruno Bertucci's scrappy strip technique, but that's what I'm going to do on this and then give it a gold leafing embellishment. So I'm just going to get my paper trimmer and I'm going to cut just some random strips from the Forever Greenery designer series paper. So I'm just going to do like 2 of these from each color, maybe 3 even. Okay, let me get this one on here. And we're just going to do a bunch of these. And as you can see, I'm not really measuring them, and I am kind of angling those also. So again, this is a great St. Patrick's Day project. So don't worry about these being even. They really just, the more random you are, the better with this technique. So we're going to keep doing that with those. Let's get some of these stripes in there because they're really pretty. And Bruno and Kylie have a great video. They're Australian demonstrators. They have a great video that shows more on this technique and some variations on it, so you can always check them out. And let's get this one done. Do a couple of these. And so this is a wonderful way to use up some of your scraps. And who doesn't have paper scraps? I mean, are you really a paper crafter if you don't have scraps? Okay, so just so you know, my feed's not really showing me any comments tonight, so I will go back after the live video has ended, and if you have any questions about anything, just let me know, and I will try to get those answered for you. All right, so now we're going to peel. We're going to make sure that's on there good. We're going to peel that backing off because that backing has the adhesive there. And this is super sticky. See, that one's not wanting to come off very well. Let's see if I can get it from this end. Okay, so super sticky piece of paper. All right, so I'm going to start down here at the very bottom, and I'm just going to start laying my strips on. And the more random you are with these, the better. So no 2 cards are going to look exactly the same. And if they do, good for you, but I can't do that. So we're just going to keep laying those on there. And again, these are sticky, so they're just sticking right on there. No issues. I'm going to do like here. Do this one. And they end up working out great. It's such a fun little technique. Let's see what else, what other color we want to do here. We haven't done this one. Let's put him on there. And, what's this one? Oh, I think I'll use, oh darn. See, now it gets hard because then you're like, well, which color should I use? All right, I'm gonna put this one on there again. And just a little bit maybe of this one, right? Okay, so yeah, however you like to do that. Okay, then I'm going to turn this over, and again, I have my gummy scissors here, so I'm just going to trim off all of that. Get that trimmed down, and you could always cut your cardstock bigger if you wanted to. Oops, I guess that one's just not going to stay there, and that's okay. I'm not too worried about it. I might even be able to use one of these little pieces on there. Maybe that's what I'll do. Maybe it wasn't meant to be that one on there. Let's see. Let's take this one. Yeah, I'm not even going to worry about it. I'm going to add extra gold to that part. All right, so I want to throw all this away, because I really don't need those scraps, but you could even do those. I'm sure you could find a fun technique for that. All right, so again, we're going to open up our Gilded Leafing. We're going to just kind of dab it in there. This is the fun part. It is kind of messy, guys. So you see it flying, right? Ooh, look at that. So what I'm wanting to do is get that really in those little crevices. There we go. We're going to get these beautiful lines on here. And if there's someplace you need to put more, just add a little bit with your finger there. And remember, I told you, you're going to have, if you do place your order today, you get 5 handmade cards. So this might be one of them that you get even. It's kind of a fun little technique that I like doing a twist on Bruno's technique. So you can see how pretty that is. Absolutely picks up all that shimmer. And would you like to see the finished card? Let me show it to you. So I just took a panel that looked exactly like that, and I did this little card. So this is again with the butterflies, and you can see I just have those little lines there. This is one of the stitch shaped circles. The greeting is from Happy Thoughts, and if you haven't ordered that one, that's a great one to add to your order today because it really has so many different greetings in it. The butterfly, let me just tell you, this was with that same adhesive sheet. So I put that on the white, and then I die cut the butterfly die. And when I peeled that backing off, then I put the gilded leafing on there. So that's just another way that you can use that. So there's that. And I'll take pictures of all of these, and I'll have them on Instagram and Facebook here within the week, okay? So now this paper has probably gotten sticky enough. We just want it tacky enough. We don't want it really wet. So once we have it that way, now I know some people like to put the gold leafing on by hand. I just find that that's even messier. So I do like to keep my messes a little more contained than that. So again, if you're tuning in a little behind, I just sponge some of the Tombow multi-purpose adhesive on this, and we're dipping that into the gilded leafing. Okay. And again, I'm going to use my sponge to rub that in. And I like this effect because it really just almost looks like peeled paint. It looks like it's peeling back, and it's kind of a neat effect. Now, if you go to order the gilded leafing, I wanted to tell you, it's going to show up as back ordered, but it is expected in stock any day now. And there should be plenty to go around once it does get in stock. So go ahead and add it to your order. Don't be afraid to do that. And it should be arriving soon. So I would imagine with free shipping, there'll probably be some shipping delays anyway. So you may just have a little bit of a wait for that as it is. So you can see we've got this really neat paper that's got that shimmer all over it. So what I did with this one to finish the card, and I got a little goober on there, I took one of our stitch shaped circles and I cut that out of the middle, and then I added that to a basic black card. And then I took one of the stamped butterflies and die cut that and added it to there. Now you'll see I stamped Happy Birthday on here. Let me just give you a tip. If you want to stamp on this paper, on this specialty paper, do it with the Stays On black ink. It's going to work much better. The first one I did, I smeared, and so if you're smearing it after you've done all your gold leafing, that's really kind of upsetting. So you want it to turn out right the first time. So that is that card. And then finally, and I'll show you what I did with the circle there in just a moment. Finally, I'm going to show you how to use the heat and stick powder. So I have my Stamparatus here and my butterfly set. I'm getting a piece of Just Jade cardstock. And what I'm going to do is just create a background effect on this. So I'm going to stamp it with Versamark ink. And Versamark is really my choice on this one. You want something sticky that the heat and stick powder can stick to. And I'm just going to stamp that down. Make sure we get a really good impression there. And if I didn't, I could always put it back in there to do a little bit better, but that's pretty good. I'm probably going to do this one little butterfly here once more, just because I want this one to turn out great. So I am going to double stamp this one just to get really good adhesion on here. So making sure that's in the corner. Give it a good push. All right, and that should be good. All right, much better. So yeah, I've got a really good little background there. Okay, let me close that up. Now, when you use the heat and stick powder, it looks a lot like embossing powder. It comes in a little jar just like this. And I am going to just get a piece of copy paper, just basic copy paper. And I'm going to put my card there. And we're going to sprinkle this on just like we would with embossing powder. So think of it much the same way. I'm hoping that my heat tool will reach over here. Usually it's a little out of reach for the videos, but we'll see if it does. And normally I won't do embossing on a video because it tends to be kind of loud with that noise right there. So by folding the paper in half, I'm able to then dump that nicely back inside there. Hey, it worked. Okay, this does have a little bit of a smell to it, so if you're real sensitive to smells, you might actually want to go with one of the other techniques for using the gold leafing. So I have my heat tool here. I'm going to go ahead and turn it on low and just let it get warm here. And we really just want this to just melt. I mean, you really are going to want that white powder look gone. Okay, and it doesn't take long at all, so it's going right now. And what this does is it turns that into a glue, almost like a glue ink. So we're going to get the rest of this here. But yeah, you want to go really kind of fast. You want to get the powder look gone, and you want to get the rest of it heated up. So let me see if I can pull it up here close so you can see. It does not take very long. Just as soon as you blast it, get it off of there. Okay. Get it melted and move on. If you overheat it, nothing's going to stick, okay? And my first one, it didn't work great, so. Worked okay. It just wasn't perfect. And we all know how we like perfect stuff, so. I'm going to go ahead and get the rest of that. Okay. All right, so you can see I got a little bit there I got to get. Yep. Okay. And then back in the bin it goes. And get all those little butterflies are now pretty sticky. Okay. Whew. Check that out, guys. Crazy, huh? All right. All right, keep rubbing that. Yeah, I think this one turned out better than my first one, so just so you know, practice makes perfect. But the card still turned out really pretty, so wait till you see the finished card. I think you'll like it. Okay, and yeah, if you want more gold, just you can go back over. I've got a couple spots that I want a little bit more on. And then I've also had it where, you know, if I missed a spot somewhere, you can add a little bit of that multi-purpose glue just to kind of cover up your mistakes. But you can see we've got a great little background here. Isn't that beautiful? Okay, so it's not as raised as like your heat embossing, and it definitely has a different look than heat embossing. I would say it's a little bit more rustic or weathered looking than heat embossing. So really pretty. And let me show you the finished card that I made. I'm going to put this away again. All right. And there is the finished card. So again, here's my circle from the other card I showed you earlier, and I stamped that in regular ink and it's smeared. So I had to correct it by doing a different greeting on there. So there's that card. And again, it's got that same butterfly embossed greeting. So that was attempt number 1. This is attempt number 2. It does get easier with a little bit of practice. So there's that card. I'll go ahead and add the other ones in here. So we have the thank you. Here is the other butterfly. And we had one more. Let's see. Here it is. Okay, so I'm just going to double check and see if I can see any comments or anything. If anybody has any questions, leave those, in the comments for me, and I'll go back through and answer those. And hopefully I gave you some ideas of how to use the gold leafing. If you need any help with your ordering tonight, like I said, free shipping will end at midnight Mountain Time, so that's 2 p.m. Eastern. If you need help with that, just feel free to give me a quick email or message me here on Facebook, and I'll be more than happy to help you. So thanks so much for watching, and I will talk with you soon.